You are the last person that I'm gonna meet. If you cannot help me, then I'll find the highest building and jump down. Yeah.
Hi, welcome to SG Now. I'm Shada Harrison, and here we are in my favorite studio where I get to drink my kopi o kosong. Give me a second. Ah, so good. So with me in the studio today, we have City Joes. We've got City Joe Bruce, and we've got City Joe Damit. How are you guys doing?
Me, I'm great as always.
Damit, how are you doing?
I'm still going as usual.
You're still going along, still moving forward. That's good to hear. All right, we also have a very interesting guest in the house today. We've got Abbas.
Hello.
Hello. Now, Abbas, you have a very interesting job. I'm not going to reveal what the job is yet. It's interesting. It's also very meaningful. I'm just going to let you introduce yourself. So what do you do?
I help people who are in debts in Singapore. I've been doing this for 8 years and have assisted more than 25,000 people to get rid of their debts.
25,000 people?
Yeah.
I don't think I've helped more than, okay, well, I'm a teacher lah, so I have helped some students lah, but not 25,000.
Yeah,
And you help people get out of debt.
exactly.
That is just phenomenal. What do you guys think about that?
Just the sheer number of people.
Yeah.
It is
Wait,
insane.
I have a question.
Yes.
Because you said he helped people get out of debt.
Yeah.
So what sort of debt? The legal ones or both the legal and the illegal ones?
Both actually. Yeah.
Interesting.
Okay. So then we need to talk about what is debt, right? Because there's legal debt, there's illegal debt. And I suppose that has to do with how we borrow our money or where we get our money from, right? So how do people actually get into debt?
Okay, usually people get into debts came from different walks of life these people who entered my office came from different walks of life. Some is being scammed. Some of them taking care of their parents, the medical bills and stuff. Some due to gambling, some due to excessive spendings also. Because nowadays, social pressure, someone bought a new car, a new drive, he also want to get a new car and stuff. So actually, a lot of people came from different walks of life lah. So
Yeah.
basically, there's no one exact reason why people actually in debt, but there's a lot and plenty of different background lah that people came from.
Right,
Yeah.
okay. Okay, Abbas, so what I'm hearing is people can get into debt in all sorts of ways, right? Whether they're victims of scams, even got love scams, right?
Correct, yeah.
You know, I personally know someone that lost like hundreds of thousands of dollars to a man she believed was some Ang Moh man in America lah, wanting to love her. But she was like in her late 70s, and she literally lost all her money. And of course, as the story goes, he was some man in Nigeria lah. It's as typical as that, and then they lose all this money. But does that mean that they're indebted, or does that mean that they're just a victim of a scam?
In that case, it's just the victim of the scam.
Right.
Because she's using her own money to actually pass to this kind of love scam. So he lost that money. She lost that money.
Okay, but
Yeah.
as long as she doesn't owe money to a bank
Exactly.
or a loan shark.
Yeah.
So loan shark is also included.
Yes.
Oh my goodness. Okay, this is very interesting for me because I don't know enough about this world, right? Like literally when I became an adult, I was like, I ain't getting a credit card because I know myself.
Yeah.
I will spend. You should see the way I shop online. So I was like, I ain't getting no credit card. So I'm not very aware of this world of being indebted to someone. Sort of like, let's just go around the table here, right? Damit, do you know anyone who is in debt?
Currently in debt, no. But then there are some family members who are struggling at home, tend to borrow money from within the family, try to borrow money, which might end up at some point having to borrow from outside sources, right?
Yeah.
But it's usually because of medical bills.
Right.
Yeah.
And these are large sums of money.
Yeah.
Okay. Bruce?
Okay, so technically, aren't we all in debt?
Oh, who are we indebted to each other?
No, if you own a HDB, aren't you in debt? You're
Yeah.
in debt to the banks or to the HDB.
That's true.
But just to add on to what Damit just said about hospital bills, to the best of my understanding, Okay, this happened to me. Back in the 80s, I had an uncle who was critically sick, very sick. He went to ICU. He was in for like more than a month. When he came out back in the 80s, his medical bills came up to more than $100,000.
Oh my goodness.
Okay. My auntie did not have the money to pay. I do not know the agency that they approached, but what I remembered was, after speaking to the hospital, my auntie was only required to pay $50 every month until the debt was settled. But then I remembered after paying for like a certain amount of months, she stopped totally and the hospital did not chase after her. That's one.
But that's an unusual situation.
Okay, hang
That's
on.
$100,000 you're talking about.
But government hospitals also, if you don't have the money, hospitals still have to admit you. Am I right to say that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're right.
Then if you really don't have the money, then how? Then are they going to sue you for bankruptcy? Will hospitals do that?
Yeah, hospital can do that.
Okay. But people, if don't have money, means don't have money, like you can sue all you
Yeah.
like.
Let's go back to the topic of debt, right?
Yeah.
So we can get into debt in quite a few ways.
Mm-hmm.
We borrow a large sum of money from the bank and we can't pay that large sum of money. We borrow a large sum of money from a loan shark and we can't pay that money. We get into a scam which takes our money and now we owe the bank when these dudes ran off with our money, right? Are there any other ways we can get into debt?
Because right now there's a lot of new platforms like the buy now pay later, Atomy, Grab, and then
That's right. That's right.
yeah, Grab Pay, some kind of Atomy, and then shop back or yeah. So there's this new platform which is they call it the buy now pay later kind of thing. Yeah, so even the younger generation at the age of 22, 23, they are eligible. Just enter their debit card and they will have a certain amount of money that they can actually use first and then pay later.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, something like that. I
Yeah.
used it before. It's called Pace. It
Buy
allows
now-
me to pay
correct.
the payment in
Yeah,
three,
exactly.
three steps, yeah.
Yeah.
But it's called debit card. What? That means whatever you have done is
Yeah.
debited
Oh,
out.
no,
Example, there's a Grab app. So you just enter your debit card. Grab will give you $1,000 of credit for you to use first and then pay later.
Oh.
Oh
to
my
shop.
goodness,
Is it?
I never realized how fishy these things can be.
Yeah.
But very young people are getting into debt, which is what I'm concerned about as well. What's the youngest person you've ever met that got into
23 years old?
23?
Yeah.
How old are you, Dharmik?
3.
What happened?
Oh my goodness.
Buy now, pay later.
Yeah.
Serious?
Yeah.
Are you allowed to reveal the sum of money?
$7,000.
What? They spent $7,000?
Yeah.
Probably
It's
something
because of
like
the interest and the compounded interest. Yeah.
Oh, so
Yeah.
in actual fact, the amount wasn't 7,000.
Exactly.
It was less than that.
Correct.
So you see, the problem I have with a lot of people on the outside is that they're not contented. They want things that they need, they don't have. They're envious of what other people have. Oh, this person have this LV bag. I need to buy one. What is need? You don't need an LV bag. All right, you buy a $5 bag. It serves the same purpose to carry things.
Yeah.
Right.
I was just looking at a shop actually with this shopkeeper like with a large stick taking down an LV bag for this lady. And I'm like, why do we need to have that status? But for someone like me who works in I guess showbiz, where we all do, I feel the pressure because a lot of my co-actresses love them, have all these branded things, right? And I'm like, is the trend nowadays to have like a Chanel handbag or, Christian Dior belt, like, do I need to flaunt the brands? But that's going to set me back. If I earn a certain amount of money and I'm spending close to the amount of money I make to buy these $5,000 handbags for status, that's definitely going to put me in debt, right? So it's just like this interesting, horrible, vicious cycle. So we've talked about how people get into debt, all sorts of debt, all sorts of people. Now we're going to talk about how people get out of debt and if they can out of debt. So stay tuned for part 2. Okay, all cut.